Okie dokie, so today we're gonna try to make this tweeting thing actually useful. So I'm gonna start by, so here's the plan. We're gonna make it so it tells the ID of the user it needs to authenticate as to the service that's actually doing the tweeting, and it's going to feed the markdown stuff to Twitter and post that, and we're gonna see if that works, and basically can we get that working in the next hour or so. And that's gonna be it for today. We'll see if anyone joins. If not, no biggie, because I'm building this for myself. Or well, really I'm doing research for a course, but you know, potato potato, right? Okay, so I'm logged in. Now we're gonna move the ping private API. Actually, we are still gonna use that. Or no, let's move it down here somewhere. So, hey fuzzy buddy, that was a very quick join. How are you doing today? So I'm gonna close a bunch of these files because I don't know where anything is anymore. I'm doing great today, but sorry, I distracted myself. So components, we have the login component, right? Or the thread render, thread input, layout. Let's start with login. Where is the login stuff? So this console logs things. Aha. So we have call public and call private, and then we have these two buttons. So I'm gonna move that to, where should we move that actually? Okay. Another one that we need is, so we have thread input and thread render. We log in, thread render, and beneath those two, where is, okay, index page, that's this part here. So I'm gonna change that to the React thing. We have thread container provider, your Twitter thread. So is React easy to learn? I think React is pretty easy to learn, or rather it takes a bit of a shift in how you think about things, but after that it gets very easy to learn. And whether it's useful like PHP or Python, it solves actually a very different problem. React is meant mostly for front-end stuff, whereas PHP and Python are for back-end stuff. So in that regards, I don't think you can really compare that much. But if you're building front-ends, I would definitely recommend you try React. So we have the login button, then we're going to have here another div, and we're going to have a tweet button. So that is send tweet, but we do need to be in the thread container provider, so I'm going to move that up here, and the thread container provider goes here, blah. And then I think this needs to take a React fragment like that. Great, so now that's gonna be happy, and here I'm gonna just say tweet button goes here so that I can see it compile. Tweet button goes here. Am I gonna add a favicon to my project? Yes, I will. I don't need it yet. I want to get it working first. So the way I try to do my projects is that I first focus on getting it working and not having it really pretty, or even I try not to even worry too much about the code being pretty or the design being pretty. I want it to work first, and then I go into polish mode and I make it prettier. I make the SEO stuff and things like that. So right now I am moving some things around. I'm gonna change the public. So here we have this stuff. So is authenticated is our button. That's the thing. We're gonna move that to call private is gonna go out. We have this button. Okay, so we're gonna have a tweet button here. So tweet is gonna look like that. And we're gonna say the tweet button import, okay, I'm gonna call it tweet button actually, tweet button. So import tweet button from // components tweet button which is a component, and we're gonna start a new component, import React from React, and we say export default is a component that does what? It's going to render a button. So I'm gonna take this button, which is our ping private API button, like that, and I'm gonna copy all of this stuff because we're gonna need it. That, and we import button from React, like that, and we say tweet button.js. Hey Nguyen, I don't know how to pronounce that those funny letters, so I'm not gonna try. We're gonna need the auth component from here, and this needs to be in React mode, and this is going to return the button, and we're gonna take the call private function from here and move it here. So we don't need the public function anymore. And we don't need, okay, actually let's keep the message. So we're gonna move the message here. We're gonna say this is returning a React fragment with a p message, and login.js, and we take this stuff, move that over here. Then we need use state from React. So see, we're now kind of doing some refactoring, moving code around so that it's easier to use, which, you know, makes sense, I think. So that's our login component, and down here we have the ping private API. I'm gonna make this a little smaller so that it's easier to see everything that's on the screen. Logout Suicide Stellar, that's me. Ping private API, we're gonna do it like this. Tweet your thread. Bam, and I'm going to say that this needs to check whether we are actually authenticated. So we're gonna take is authenticated from auth, like this, and we're gonna say that we only render this if is authenticated, and blah. So now if I log out, we should see tweet your thread vanish, which it did, and then I click login. It goes through the auth0 service, logs me in, I become logged in, and I get the tweet your thread button down here. Cool. And I can reload again so you can see that it knows that it's me. Now tweet your thread is taking the bearer token and gets data. Now we have to add, what do we have to add? We have to add the actual ID so that we know who we are tweeting as. And we also need to post the message so that we know what the message is, right? Right. And I think actually let's try using HTTP here as well, because we had a lot of luck using it on the other end. So I'm gonna try using it here as well. So yarn add HTTP, and I'm going to check how HTTP works because I keep forgetting how it works, and I think we're gonna make Luke very happy if we use his library. So it's HTTP easy as pie. Cool. So we're gonna do it like this. Import post from HTTP, and here call private API is we get the token, then we say await post to private endpoint, which comes from our auth util. We don't need the method anymore, but we are going to need the body, right? How do we do headers again? Oh yeah, that's just okay, headers, and then our body is going to be like that, and our body is going to contain what? We're gonna need the let's see, how do we get the user ID that we are sending as? So we have user. So if we look at our auth service thingy, change this to React mode, and let's see, get user, JSON parse local storage user. So body user ID is auth.getUser.sub, I think. And we're gonna check that we're actually sending the right stuff. And message is going to be, how do we get message out of our context? Let's see. So index.js, we're gonna look at thread render and see how that does it, because that way we can use the same thing. Aha. So we have const input use context. Cool, that's great. So we can take use context from React, put it here. We call that input. Oh, and we need thread container as well, because that's, where is it? Thread container comes from /state, tweet button, blah. Okay, let's clean this up a little bit. We move that over here. Thread container comes from state, use context, like that. What's it complaining about now? So I'm gonna make this so I can click through mode. Prettier. What are you complaining? Aha, user ID message is not defined. Yes, like that. So we have body, and our message is going to be input. I'm gonna just keep the first, we're gonna do it just for one tweet right now, so we're gonna see how it works. Oh, and it's just input, but we do actually want to get the whole thing here, but we can deal with that later. Tab size to 4. No, I am not changing that. I'm using whatever the default settings for prettier are from the Gatsby project, and I do not want to mess with that. That's the magic of prettier, is that that is something I don't have to ever care about, and I like that. Okay, we can actually move this out of our function and put it here. Actually, no, we cannot. So we move that back down here. Call private async token get auth is auth get token. Then we post to private endpoint with the bearer token authentication. We send the user ID and the message, and we get back the data. Cool. Oh, what is, so response. So we say res.data.message, or actually let's do it like this, const data and status code equals response. So we get data.message and status code. Yeah, it's formatting it correctly. That's exactly what I'm saying, Matteo. Whatever the prettier config is always correct, and I don't want to mess with that. So we're doing that. Data status code, blah blah blah. And now, because also these aren't actually tabs; these are spaces. So what else? Okay, I guess we can just try this and see what we're sending. Yeah. Okay. So log blah blah. Hello world from Gatsby. Okay, and I go down here, click tweet your thread, and we're gonna see what happens. Cool. It said. I guess that part worked. Now let's see if we actually sent the info that we wanted. So that was our post, headers, preview. Okay, let me zoom this in a little bit. Request payload, we have our user ID, which is perfect, and we have our message. Awesome. Cool. So message and user ID. Now we have to go to the other side, which is the server, and see how that works. So we have handler.js in our server. Here, I'm going to delete this stuff. So we have get user token. Where do we get the user ID? Here. So user ID. Now, how do I read what my So on this side, I'm going to console log. I'm assuming my event so that I can see what we're at. Basically, I want to figure out how to get to the parameters that we're sending. So console log event is probably going to help me figure that out. So I'm gonna make another tab here, and let's get status, get at source, get commit -a-m. We're saying this is at tweet button that posts user ID and message. Okay, so we added a console log. I'm gonna go to the backend thing and say serverless deploy. Now we're gonna wait for that to happen, and we're gonna see, then we're gonna be able to actually see what we're sending from the server side, or from the Lambda side, if you will. Sign into the console. We can do this while it's deploying. It's easier to just navigate around. Swizzle.com, blah, signed in, cool. We go to CloudWatch, which is where our logs are being collected. Logs. Okay, so we're gonna wait now for it to deploy. Then we're gonna click the button again. We're gonna get an error because we're trying to send the same tweet as I already just sent. So it's not gonna work. So we say here, tweet your thread. We're gonna get back an error. Yep, 502 error. Now our CloudWatch public endpoint is from, should be at 2226. Let's see. No, what did I do wrong? 2226, it already errored out here. Okay. Wait, so where did this thing error out? Oh, private endpoint, that's what I'm looking for. So 2226, we API private is the resource, and we should have a body somewhere. So body, any reason why I don't use async await? Yes, it's because I used to have this, I accidentally had my serverless set up to Node 6 where async await doesn't work. So I started doing everything with promises, and then when I switched to Node 8 where I think async await works, Node 8 async await, let's see if that works. Okay, so yes, we do have async await in Node 8, but then I already had this written with promises. But you're right, we can rewrite it so that it's using async await, which is not a bad idea at all. So I might do that as we go along. But first, we're gonna say user ID and message are event.body. So here we're going to say user ID, and down here we're going to say message. Okay, so that should work, and if that works, then I promise we're gonna rewrite it to async await next. So I'm going to do a serverless deploy. Okay, so I guess while that's deploying, we can start rewriting to async await a little bit. So we say tweet is a async function that returns a promise. This still has to return a promise because the Twitter statuses API is callbacks based. So we have to do it with async. We have to do it with a promise, unfortunately. But here we can say const response equals await of get, and we return response.data. So we console log this and we return response.data like that. We say async function get user token. So that should work. Now let's see if we can do a tweet here. So sorry folks, I'm testing my Gatsby Twitter thing. Gonna be a little noisy for a while. And a peace emoji, because that always helps. Cool. Now we click tweet your thread and we get an error. Awesome. So now we get to go inspect what the error was. So this part might take a little while. It's going to be a lot of back and forth, but let's see. Huge error. What was the huge error? Come on, reload. Really, it's slow. Okay. Bad request, incoming message. Huge error, bad request. What? Object didn't pass validation for format user ID. Cool. So what I'm doing wrong is here's something. Do we have to... maybe when I was logging the event, it wasn't actually a JSON. Let's see. Here, let's see. Resource API private. Was this actually a string? Let's try event. Let's try JSON.parse of event body, user ID message, and I'm going to also console log type of event.body. Okay, which font size do you want me to increase, Matteo? On the editor or in the browser? Because I can definitely do that, but I'm hoping the editor one is already big enough, because it makes it kind of hard for me to see on my own monitor. So here I'm trying to find out first what the type of event.body is, and I'm trying to JSON parse it in case it's actually a string, because that's what I'm guessing the problem is. So we're going to do another serverless deploy, both sizes, but the browser is critical. Okay, so how's that for the browser? And I can do this. That kind of makes it hard for me to see, because now most of the text is hidden behind the restream chat room. It also makes it hard to scroll up and down. So with this deploy, we're going to find out three things. We're going to see if async await works with node 8. We're going to see what the type of event body is, so that we can see if we can parse it directly or what went wrong. And potentially we're going to already solve the problem by using JSON parse optimistically. So I'm going to delete this so we can see it better. Tweet your thread. And oh, now it worked. Fascinating. So we can go verify that we actually tweeted it out. Preferences, I'm going to turn off Twitter here. Go here, twitter.com. And let's see, I'm gonna go, there we go. Twitter thing gonna be a little noisy for a while, so that's working. Cool, so we got that working, which means this was the problem. And let's see, git status, git commit -a-m, tweeting message per user ID on in handler.js. handler.js, blah, git push origin master. That always helps. Now let's clean this up so that it's async await and easier to read, right? So we say get auth0 token. So const auth0 token equals await that. Then const user token equals await of that. Then we have const identity equals response dot user token dot identities, like that. Then we say const tweet response equals tweet of message and identity, like that. And then we do a callback with all of these things, like that. And instead of catch, we're gonna have a try around all of this. Yeah, so try catch error, where we're going to console log bar. So like this. I wonder if we can say console error. I'm sure we can. Cool. So we got that. We have auth0 token, await get user token from auth0 token, auth0 token type, tweet response. Oh shit, I deleted too much stuff. Forgot to take this. Like that. Okay, and we have the course stuff. Try catch. Why is that not working? Ah, that's why. Like that. And then we have the callback with the error, and I'm going to keep that, and we're going to just stringify. Let's just keep it this way. So we're gonna say tweet response, like that. So that should work. We now have okay, and that actually made the code a lot easier to follow, didn't it? So we have the private API, which tweets stuff, get user token, talk to auth0 to get provider tokens, and send a tweet. And here we have talk to auth0 to get our token, and we can say that this also is an async function, which it needs to be, that says const response equals await of post, and it does this stuff. Tweet async, it's missing await. It is missing await, isn't it? Yes, you're right. Thanks, that's a great catch, Matteo. So see, increasing the font size does help. Now I guess the next thing should be that I should move these client secrets and stuff somewhere else. Generate policy, and I think we don't need, do we need a public endpoint? We can keep it for now. So I said I would move this to something else. Let's see, what can we move it to? Okay, we can keep it here for now, because I'm not sure yet what the direction the server is going, which direction the server is going to take. So right now we just have a thing that is able to send one single tweet. Huge error, blah blah blah, user ID and message. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is move my consumer secrets and stuff into an actual secrets directory. Isn't that true? Yeah. So git status, git commit -a -m, cleanup. Sorry, I'm kind of scratchy. What's this called? Clean up promises into async await, like that. And the next thing I'm gonna do is make a secrets file that we're going to import here, and that's gonna give us, it's gonna be a much better way to store our secrets and not have them leak on streams or in GitHub and stuff like that. And I'm also going to go regenerate them while I'm doing that, because it's the smart thing to do. Okay, so we're gonna say const secrets equals require./secrets.json, and I'm going to make a new file that's going to look like this. Twitter is going to have what? So we're gonna have Twitter and auth0. They both have secrets and stuff. So backend, oh, we already have a secrets.json. Don't save. Secrets.json. Auth client ID. So why is that set in serverless YAML? Ah, I see. Interesting. Okay. Even better. So I'm gonna do it that way. So we have auth0 client ID. Then we have what else? Auth0 client ID is this one. So we can say auth0 client ID. Is it? Yeah. Auth0 client ID and auth0 client secret. Hey, look, what's up? So auth0 client secret $file ./secrets.json auth0 client secret. Build your function with rollup and inject secrets at build time. I think that's actually what I'm doing, sort of. I'm just using the serverless YAML magic to do it with. So client secret, serverless. Now, secrets JSON in backend thingy. La. Now let's see if that is in version control. vim.git ignore. /secrets new. Let's see if my secrets are on GitHub, because they should not be on GitHub. So this is called thread compiler. Thread compiler, let me zoom in. So we have backend and secrets JSON. That should not be there. Git move. How do I get energy to also code after work on in my spare time? That's a good question, and I think the answer is that I just really enjoy coding, and it's always been kind of something I did to relax and stuff. So from that perspective, I just like doing it. And from a purely energy perspective, the reason I can keep doing it after work is that I try to make sure that I'm always working on things that are very different than they are at work. So that makes it easier as well, because it's no longer just like something that I am struggling with. Like, because I'm just doing things that are kind of fun and entertaining instead of being something serious, it makes it take less energy, because I'm just experimenting with stuff, you know? Okay. So, look, I'm not sure what all of that actually means, but I think it's gonna be good enough for me, if that makes sense. And also, I do not feel like setting up rollup right now because I have no idea how that works. So we have our secrets example.json, and now I'm going to copy backend secrets example to backend secrets.json. So secrets example is going to take that one out. A later video, yes. Auth0 client secret, then what else do we need? Okay, so we have Auth0 client ID, Auth0 client secret. We're also going to need, that's that. Then for Twitter, we're going to need command X, Twitter consumer key, and Twitter consumer secret. Okay, and we go up here, auth client public key, auth0 client, what do we call it? Client secret. So auth0 client secret, auth0 client secret, const Twitter consumer key equals process.env Twitter consumer key, const Twitter consumer secret equals process.env Twitter consumer secret. Awesome. We add them to Twitter consumer key. So this secrets example.json exists so that we can remember in the future what to actually set up. And now I'm gonna go first to auth0 and regenerate my keys. Then I'm gonna go to Twitter AP developer stuff and regenerate them there. And just for, you know, security purposes, I'm gonna hide my screen when I do that, because I don't want you seeing this stuff. So backend secrets.json, auth client ID, you can see that one. Oh hey, that's new. Somebody new signed up. So I think it was in APIs, auth0 management API, identifier, scopes test. I don't remember where to get my secret. Thread compiler backend and rotate secret. Perfect. So I'm gonna, oh actually, yes, I'm gonna rotate my secret. Yes, change client secret and copy to clipboard. Now I'm gonna hide my screen momentarily, like that. Paste it in, move back away from the file. Okay, now you can see me again. Now I'm gonna go to the Twitter developers. See how sneakily you can't see my secrets and stuff? As if you were gonna go type them over, you know. So dashboard, where are my apps? I don't know how to get to apps. Okay, apps, thread compiler details, and keys and tokens. Okay, so now I'm going to hide my screen again, copy paste these over into my new secrets JSON file, then deploy, and we're gonna see if it works. So I'm opening, you can't see it, but I'm opening secrets, I'm regenerating stuff. So I have a new Twitter, what was it, consumer key, that, and a new Twitter consumer secret, like that. I'm gonna hide that screen, hide that file, and open OBS. Cool. So now I should have new secrets in play. without you knowing what they are. And I'm gonna do some copy pasting here and say this is the Twitter client key, Twitter client key, and Twitter consumer secret, Twitter consumer key, consumer key, consumer key, and Twitter consumer secret. And yeah, I know this part isn't like super exciting, but it's surprisingly important when you're doing stuff like this, to make sure your secrets and keys and stuff are oh right, cd backend serverless deploy. Now it's going to go up, and we're gonna try it again and see if it works. I wonder if anyone is actually still out there. Oh cool, 2 people, that's pretty cool. Cool. Wow, Michael Jackson commented on my blog. That feels pretty special. Cool. I should not have shown you that. Okay, I'm gonna close that tab before I go to it again. So we have that. Now I'm gonna try to tweet again. So we're gonna say I successfully rotated my API tokens without anyone on the stream seeing what they are. Tweet your thread, and I was not actually in fact successful. So let's see what I got wrong. Let's first see, did this error out? 2251, yep, that's me. Await get auth token syntax error. Await is only valid in async functions. Okay. So handler.js, await is only valid in async functions. That was on line get auth 0 token. Aha. We have to make sure that all of this is an async function as well. That's what I was doing wrong. So I'm gonna try to redeploy. Redeploying because you can only use await in async, and it that's how it spreads through your code base like a virus. It's pretty cool. And let's see. So it's deploying. Okay, still deploying. Awesome. So now that's deployed, I can tweet my thread again, and we'll see what happens. 502 error. Has been blocked, blah blah blah. Yes, that's because errors aren't getting proper course stuff. We can now go to the private endpoint, 2252. And let's see, huge error, unauthorized at incoming message. What would happen if I called what with a regular function instead of using async? The problem here is that these things are they're asynchronous functions, so they need to be some sort of async. They need to either use async await, or they need to use promises, or they need to use callbacks. There's no other way to do it. So now the problem here is that because I have only one huge error thing, I don't actually know which one errored out, which is a kind of a problem. But we can see if we can Okay, I think it's get auth 0 token that errored out because we never got this thing. Right. I think that's what errored out, because we have auth client ID, we have that. So here where I'm sending client secret to the thing, let's see, I'm gonna console it. So the private API needs to be an async function just so that we can use a await inside. Without that, we can't use await, and because if we can't use await, that means we would have to use promises, and that makes our code more complicated than it needs to be, or it looks messier. So I'm gonna add a console log here. Credentials. Oh, I think my auth client ID here is different. So I'm gonna momentarily hide my screen again so I can verify this theory. I'm going to, you can still see at the bottom of the screen which files at least I'm going to. Yep. So we have two different client IDs for auth 0. I'm gonna copy that and say auth management client secret, and let's see, server handler. So we have the client ID, which is, so we're using two different client IDs and two different secrets. So I need to make sure that works. So we have auth client ID. So let's see, you can see this part. So we have auth 0 client ID, but then we also have auth 0 management client ID, and we have auth 0 management client secret. Okay, so I'm gonna copy these over, and then we're gonna try this again because I think that's where it failed. So you can still see which files I'm opening, and I go client secret, I'm going to my secrets JSON. I also forgot to save that. So we have the client ID, then we have the management client ID and the management client secret. Copy to clipboard, so we get the client ID here, and then I can go back to my handlers.js, and you can see that part. Bup. Where was I? Client public key, client auth 0 management client secret, megameta client secret, and client ID is megameta client ID and auth 0 megameta client ID. Here's a cool little trick that I can't stop using since I found out about it. When you want to log some value, instead of doing console log my value, you can do console log my value. Oh wow, that is actually really cool. I'm gonna try that. That's a really cool trick. It totally makes sense, but I just never thought of using it. So we have public key, management client secret, and management client secret. So megameta client secret and megameta client ID, and client ID here. So I'm gonna try redeploying this, and then hopefully it's going to work. I guess we'll see. And that's a really cool tip, Matteo. I'm gonna try that next time I get a chance. So that's deploying. It's almost done, almost ready. Okay, starting to take a while. At least I feel like it. Is it just me, or is it getting slower and slower to do these deploys? It's kind of weird. Okay, so we're here. We click tweet your thread, and fingers crossed. Nope, it did not work. So why didn't it work? 22:59. What is erroring out now? Huge error. Reference error. Auth0 client secret is not defined. Of course it's not, because I'm an idiot. So we have to actually use the new variables. Client public key, client ID, and down here, management client ID and management client secret. Let's try not to console log that. So serverless deploy yet again. We wait the unbearable 30 seconds while it deploys, or it might be almost 60 seconds. And then fingers crossed it works, because I think my girlfriend over there in the other room is getting kind of annoyed that I'm yelling at my computer and streaming, and she wants to sleep, which is, you know, pretty understandable. Yeah, she complains. I need to move into an apartment with an actual separate room to use as my office / studio. I think that would help a lot. So one of the cool things is that at least we don't have to refresh the page. Whew. Wow. Objects are not valid as a React child, but it worked. I can go here and look at my profile, and we will see the new tweet. Sweet. Okay, it worked. Awesome. So the next thing I'm gonna do is quickly fix this thing here. Where are we? Thread renderer, tweet button. Here, when we set the message, we're going to JSON stringify that. Okay, so git status, and we say git commit -a-m successfully tweet without revealing secrets. Cool. Git push origin master. And now I'm going to deploy this on now so that you all can try it out. I'm gonna say now. That should put it up there. And let's see, threadcompiler.com. Awesome, awesome. Let's see. Okay, it's still deploying. Okay, this part is a bit slower because I guess it needs to build the entire Gatsby thing and compile React and all of that stuff. But we're gonna test it out by tweeting out the link, and then I'm gonna stop streaming, and we're going to continue this project tomorrow and try to actually get the right side tweeting out where it's rendering things and making them look pretty and stuff like that. We'll see how that works. And then I can, you know, I'm gonna soon be ready to start actually using this project to do my everyday 200 words today I learned posts. This is taking a while. Ah, no, don't do that. Why is it taking so long? Is it even doing stuff? OBS, Node. So one of the problems here is that I don't actually know if it's deploying or not. Because let's see, my now JSON says this package JSON, static build, distribution dir is public, ls public, has stuff. I have no idea what's going on. I wonder if it actually failed. Ah, one build failure. Check your logs. Okay, let's check my logs then. I really wanted to deploy this. Field browser doesn't contain a valid alias configuration. Okay. Module not found. Can't resolve utils/auth. So ls source. Okay, so that's happening in field browser doesn't contain a valid alias configuration. Put it up there, lol. Can't resolve / utils auth in source components. What? Error source components login. Don't need this stuff. So let's see. /utils auth.js. Ah, typical. So it's the good old problem with. So macOS has a case insensitive file system, whereas most Linuxes are case sensitive. So it often happens that if you have files that have the same name but a different case, and you're deploying to, you know, Linux, which a lot of these lambdas and stuff use, it fails. So let's see who ls-l source utils auth.js git grab utils/auth -i. What's more common? Okay, so we have to go to the other one, tweet button. This one also has to use the lowercase. And now when we say now, it's gonna put it up there and actually probably gonna work, but we'll see. Might take a while again. And I think the field browser thing was actually just a red herring or whatever it's called in English, but basically not the error we were looking for. So this is building now. Oh, it's actually changing status here. That's pretty cool. It was initializing, now it's building, then it's gonna do other stuff. Let's see. Wow, my finger hurts from my parrot hating me today. Or all week, really. By the way, how are you liking the chiptunes radio that I'm listening to in the background? Can you even hear that music? Still building. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. I just know it's still going. I wonder, can we see progress here? 5 deployments. Okay, it's saying that I deployed it. State orange. Aha, in initializing. That's interesting. Info bootstrap finished. So I guess it's still happening. It's saying it's initializing. Here it's saying it's building. Okay, can't hear the music. Interesting. Now it failed again. Okay, what failed now? Let's see. New promise, webpack error, minified React error number 30, visit, blah. Yep. You know what? It's probably not a problem. Blah. What did I do? Error decoder. Okay. What does this say? No. Oh, come on. Why would you put that space there? What did I miss? The minified element type is invalid. Expected a string for built-in components or a class function for composite components, but got undefined. Okay, but which one was undefined? So maybe if I do yarn build, that will maybe give me a better error, at least it's going to happen locally, so we'll be able to see what's going on. I just wanted to deploy this and give people a way to test it out. But if we can't do that, then we're gonna figure it out tomorrow. I'm probably using something in like a static version that I shouldn't be. Auth is local storage is not defined. That's the problem. And we go to here, and this is the problem. So in auth, here is authenticated. We say if local storage, how do we check if it's defined? If, okay, so if type of local storage equals undefined, we return all of that, else we return false. Okay, so that in theory should work. I'm gonna try yarn build again, see if it works, and then deploy. And basically the problem is that when Gatsby is compiling your code, it tries to do everything server side so that it creates a static build. And if you're checking during render time, see, now it worked. Now I can do now. Let me finish explaining this first. So basically in Gatsby, when you're compiling it, it's trying to create a static build of your whole site. So if during rendering you're using anything that requires the browser, like window, local storage, or anything like that, it gets confused and errors out. Yeah, so I have to use local, yeah, exactly what Matteo said. And for Einbisken, you could in theory make all your functions async, but that would make them kind of annoying to use because it means you would have to always say await result even when there's no need to do that, and I think it would make it just unnecessarily tedious to write code. You just have to do too much typing all the time, so that's why I prefer to. It also, if you make all of your functions async, it messes with the way people read code, where it's useful to know whether a function is doing something asynchronously or not. So that's why, just from signaling intention, it's better to limit yourself to functions that are actually doing asynchronous stuff to being async. So now let's see if this is going to deploy. What are my notifications on Twitter? So why not use that blah blah blah? That's exactly what we did. it's easier to get it working first and fix small problems like this later. Okay, so let's see if this is going to be, yeah, like Matteo said, async functions also implicitly wrap everything into promises, which creates overhead, and especially if you're compiling to older JavaScript versions, it creates very bloaty code and generally becomes a huge mess. Yeah. God damn it, how is this still not working? Hey, I know this worked. So I'm going to rmrf, the public repository, and say now again and see if it manages to build. Just because I am pretty sure we fixed this problem. Because at least locally building managed to work. So if it worked locally, it should work on the now servers as well. And if it doesn't work with this last attempt, I'm going to stop streaming and we're going to get it hosted tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Or I guess another thing I can do is, wait, yes, let's yarn build. We're gonna build it locally, or where? If local storage is undefined. Yeah, but that's okay. It's okay to use it here, I think. Because it was working when I built locally. Because this is checking the type of local storage. It's not checking local storage itself. Which should work. And it also follows the instructions that they have here. See, they're saying to use a type of. But I guess we'll see. Because if that doesn't work, there's still one more trick we can try, because I would really like to get this hosted today. Yeah, it should work. That's what I'm saying too. So I'm happy you agree. Alright, so I'm gonna do it this way, yarn build. So see here, this is generating image thumbnails, blah blah blah, building production JavaScript and CSS bundles. Cool. And now I can go to public and say now this, and this is going to be just like a static site, and it's deployed now. Yay! Cool. You can try tweeting from Gatsby to still very bare bones. Go here. Oh, and I have to log in. So I'm gonna copy that, log in. This site can, oh yeah. Okay, so that's not gonna work. We're gonna deal with that tomorrow. We got the basics working. We're gonna make it actually hostable, figure out the callback situation, and work on the richness of it. Or actually what we can do right now, let's see, the login button auth, so auth.js, I really want to get this out here. Oh, but then when I redeploy, it's going to change the URL. Okay, no, we're gonna figure this out tomorrow because it's too much work right now. But it basically works. We're gonna continue tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching, and I don't know if you're subscribed or not, but if you subscribe, you'll, I think, get a notification or something when I go live tomorrow. Should be around the same time. So thanks everyone for watching. See you tomorrow.